to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, and today we continue our journey through the Alien franchise with its second installment titled Aliens. It was released on July 18th, 1986, so nearly 39 years ago to the day, almost, very, very close. It was prepared with a story by David Giler and Walter Hill and a screenplay by James Cameron, directed by James Cameron. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. How are we feeling upon this revisit of Aliens? It's one of the only, it's this, Alien, and Romulus, you've said last week, are the only ones you've seen, so we don't have many revisits, or any revisits until we get back to the end of this project. How are you feeling about this rewatch?
This is the OG Alien for me. I guess the first one that I did watch, and then
Same
this
here.
is the third viewing for this one. And I mean, I'm still in love with the movie. It's still great, and I feel like I loved it much, much more on first viewing and that second viewing. But I did just watch Alien. And it's kind of like a post-Alien, syndrome. Is like any movie you watch post-Alien is not going to be as good. I feel like it's very hard to get up there. And then the sequel is just a big shoes to fill, I guess. And it's a different type of movie. I think they're just kind of going for something else. But it was I feel like I'm making it sound like it was a disappointment, or I'm all disappointed. But it was more that was the only thing that I noticed, is that I'm like, man, I kind of wish they stuck with the original kind of juice that was there. And I don't know, the look seemed to be kind of gone, which that was the main disappointment, is like the love that I had for like the set design and the atmosphere of everything in the first one. Maybe it's just more horror filled and more slow paced, and you can see these things more, so they had to be more detailed with it. But
right.
It felt at least like there was a little less effort put into like just the background kind of panels that are on the wall and like the hallway. I don't know, like there were some hallways that were super decked out if we were in there for a little bit, but then
the
if
world
it was just
didn't seem as lived in as the Alien one. No, I get that. I do. And it's I do think that, you compare any movie to Alien, like you said, it's gonna have a tough time standing up. There's only a handful of movies that do for me. But I do think that this is a really, really fun sequel. I think it leans a lot more into the, funny enough, family-friendly, sanitized version of Aliens, of Alien. It's not nearly as psychosexual. It plays much more with the themes of motherhood than it does than it does any sort of sexuality. Now that's still there, of course, but it's because it's Alien, you can't really take that all the way out of it. But it concerns itself a lot more with Ripley's motherhood and the aliens protecting their own and all that sort of stuff. But one thing that they do make clear, and just show you how much I've watched Aliens compared to Alien, is that I didn't remember a lot of very, very basic plot points and character traits that Ripley possesses. Like, she was a mom in Alien to a 10-year-old daughter. And when she goes to sleep for 57 years, her daughter died a year earlier at 66.
Damn.
Brutal.
Yeah, that blows. And I feel like there's the version on Hulu, at least that's how I watched it, sadly, is I don't own it or any version of it. I don't know what version is on. I think it's the theatrical release on here. And I think that there's pretty major differences between theatrical and directors or whatever the other edition.
I watched the special edition.
Yes, and there's so much more that they do with like her motherhood, and like the Burke telling her about her daughter isn't even in the theatrical.
Oh.
The scene of Newt's parents discovering the alien ship.
Yeah,
and them
that
kinda
one I
dying,
knew was
that's
not in
not
the
in
original.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ripley finding out about like seeing the picture of her daughter, I feel like I kind of looked into it just to see the scenes that I missed. There's like a scene where Burke is talking to her and just hands her like, a picture of her daughter. Not in the theatrical.
Ooh, the movie loses something for that.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of really disappointed. Like, I'm like, why cut that out? It feels like it's the point of the movie.
That's actually kind of the point.
Bit.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I get not including the scene where Newt's family dies. Like that, you don't really like. It is the inciting event in which allows the aliens to break free because it's her dad who gets face hugged, and then everywhere's fucked. Like that's on LV 429 or whatever. But yeah, like there's a point later on in the movie where Ripley tells Burke that it's his fault. He sent them out there to investigate this thing. Do you remember that? Was that in the theatrical cut?
The set out.
Like he's like she accuses Burke of being responsible for the people who went out there in the first place. Like she sent them, Newt's family, like hired them, sent them out there, and that was that. Okay,
yes,
that is
they had that.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's why I'm like, it does kind of make that a little more clearer, like who she's talking about, I guess, if they show that. But like, I do get why that's something that can be on the cutting room floor. The stuff with Ripley's daughter though is questionable. Because I love that moment. It's actually a picture of Sigourney Weaver aged up at the time, but does look like Sigourney Weaver now. It was a pretty incredible effect.
Oh, that's sick. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that part. But yeah, I'm looking up to make sure that I just didn't like miss it in the movie. But I feel like
doubt you would have.
Oh my gosh, like a whole her being a mom, like it was just kind of told in passerby. I feel like it was just kind of mentioned about her.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like whenever we watch it for the first time, because this isn't the first time we've covered this movie either. By the way, we did cover this as a part of our 52-year journey through film project back in 2022 on the Penny Bloom podcast. It was our 1986 film. We covered it without covering Alien. We were like, that might be fun, covering a sequel without having seen the original. And again, this is an incredibly isolated movie. It does a ton of expository work to explain what happened in the first one, just in case you didn't see it. And I don't recall ever being like, holy shit, she was a mom, like I don't remember thinking, like, I remember her finding Newton, that being it, kind of, not really being like, oh, well, she lost her daughter, so now she has this, and that's that, like, I didn't remember that being as big of an emphasis on the first time I watched it, but, this movie stands alone so much. You don't need to have seen the first one so much that I have a fun little story about, on a personal note, my aunt and uncle, that's my grandma's brother, her youngest brother, he's about 10 years younger than her, and his wife, their first date was to a theatrical screening of Alien 3.
Wow. Alien 3, okay.
But whenever I asked my uncle, because we visited them a few months back, and I was asking, what's the story here? How'd you guys meet? Where everything. And they told me the story, and they were like, and our first date was to see Aliens 2. And I was like, oh, damn, so in 1986. And they were like, no, 1993. And I was like, I know something you don't know. Your first date was to see Alien 3, not Aliens 2. They didn't realize Alien was the first movie. They thought Aliens was the first movie.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow.
So like Alien 3... Alien 3 to them was Aliens 2. And at least it's been looked back on as that, even if they might have known at the time it wasn't. So that was just an interesting little fun fact to me that I was like, oh man, because like I was like, oh, so 1986, like, and it was like the second time in a few months that, assuming someone's my knowledge of movie dates throws off what my perception of I have a coworker who told me he saw Princess Mononoke in theaters when he was like 17. And I was like, you were not born in 1980. And he was like, I was not born in 1980. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I was like, he was born later than that. So I was like, then you definitely didn't see it. I mean, like, maybe you saw it in theaters when you were 17, but it wasn't in its original release, so like, it was just, so like, it's fucked me a couple times recently. But I loved that little story, and it made me very happy because I love these movies.
Dang. Sad that the first one could be so unknown. Like,
I think it slips through the cracks a little bit. It's just it's undoubtedly a classic. But like I said, it's not as palatable. This is a universal, like a universally enjoyable movie. You might show it to somebody and they're like, it's not for me. And I get that, but like, this is I could show this to a 12-year-old and they'd like it a lot more than they would Alien. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah, I guess to be into Alien, you have to kind of just be into the sci-fi or horror genre.
Yes.
I feel, a little bit more. And then it's just maybe a little less of a crowd. And I guess whenever the first one did come out, I guess I don't know how the marketing was for it or how big, how big of an event it was at all. But I just know it as, as someone born in 2000 and hearing from it only as it's been out. But yeah, it's like man, I like to see. It felt like the first one gives me so much more I guess the timelessness factor. Like, this is like, oh my God, like I could watch this in 80 years and I'm still going to be blown away. But I watch Aliens and then I'm like, how did you lose that? Like, where did I don't know if it's just the set. I don't know if it's just...
I very, very genuinely think, and I when it comes to the content of this movie and what makes it feel that way, I think a lot of 80s movies have this problem. A lot of 80s movies are 80s movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell just by looking at them that this was made in the 80s, that it was conceived of in the 80s. And I don't know, like, this obviously doesn't have the real world aspects where you're dealing with like 80s hair and 80s clothes and everything. But I do think there's a sheen to the filmmaking at the time that does kind of bleed through as being from the 1980s. Now, James Cameron really puts on display a stellar ability as a filmmaker. I do think that while the way that I like to look at this is much more like I look at the Mission Impossible franchise than it is how I look at the Star Wars franchise. Where Star Wars, you want that sense of sort of in-universe continuity. This is the sort of, like, this is the feel, this is the vibe, this is what we're going for. And you want them to expand the bounds of that, but you still want it to remain comfortable almost. Which is what they do with the prequels and the original trilogy, and then, revamping the original trilogy sort of stuff for the sequels. But Mission Impossible, we're handing the franchise over to a new director every movie. It feels like a new world almost. Let's do this. And now whenever it's a sci-fi version of that gets a little murkier because we're so used to a science fiction continuity almost, I think, is kind of how I look at that. But I think this is similar to handing a franchise from Brian De Palma to John Woo. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with a filmmaker in Ridley Scott who has a lot more, I don't want to say he's got a lot more going on between the ears, because he doesn't. James Cameron is a very intelligent man. I'm not trying to say it in that way, but I think that whenever Ridley Scott is making a movie, he's always thinking about everything that it means. Like, whenever I watched the director's commentary for Alien, and I compared this to I compared it in my head to when I watched the director's commentary for I Saw the TV Glow. Obviously, I Saw the TV Glow has a lot going on and a lot of meaning and a lot of stuff behind it. I thought that would be something the director would talk about, and she barely did. Ridley Scott, when I watched the Alien commentary, it was like, here's how we did this, this is what this means, this is what this is, this is what that is, I love doing this, here's why, I love the person who did this, and like, versus what I think James Cameron does is he's obviously got a knack for this. You've seen it with Titanic, you've seen it with the Avatar movies. He is a very talented filmmaker, but I think he's again a very palatable filmmaker. He's almost like he's a little bit Spielbergian, and not to say that Spielberg is not good, because obviously he's one of the fucking greatest to ever do it. But again, I just think that there's a cleaner, more universal appeal to a filmmaker who doesn't take as many risks. You know what I'm saying? He goes down the middle and gives you what you want a movie to give you. You know what I'm saying?
Is it weird to say I feel like he's a mixture of Spielberg and Michael Bay? It's like for action, like just cool spectacles to put on screen and make it as universal and family-ish. Like the Spielberg, that's the Spielberg he's trying to pull, and then the spectacleness of Michael Bay is like this mashup is what I feel like James Cameron is. And it does, like he obviously has found a really good formula, or at least every time he comes out with a movie,
he's made 3 of the top
really
4 highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Dude,
he's good.
Dude knows what he's doing.
And that's why I'm like, I don't want it to sound like I'm being a James Cameron hater, because I'm not. I actively love a lot of James Cameron movies. One of his other movies is one of those movies that gives Alien a run for its money for me, which is Titanic. I love that movie with all my heart. There's nothing there's not a world where Titanic isn't one of my favorite movies ever. But I do think that that's the realm that I think he thrived in more. And I think that Aliens, there was this rumor that in the 90s, like the early 90s, prior to the development of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, that James Cameron was going to helm Spider-Man with Leo as Peter Parker.
Whoa.
Like that was being conceptualized, and it would have been tonally like this. Like, like the dark, gritty...
Whoa.
Like the streets of New York wouldn't look that much different than when we're on the ground at LV 429 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been that sort of vibe. And that's always been one of my favorite what ifs, kind of. I wonder how different Leo's career would have been. I wonder how different James Cameron's career would have been. There's just all sorts of stuff. Like we almost certainly wouldn't have gotten Titanic when we did. Who knows how that affects the Avatar movies? Who knows how it affects Marvel at large? It's just one of those interesting ripples
instead of Toby.
Yeah, right. One of those rippling effects that there's just no telling how it would work. And I think that while I do think that would have been massively interesting and massively exciting, I think that this movie in particular puts on display why I'm thankful we didn't. Not just for Leo, but also for James Cameron. Like
Titanic is goated.
Titanic.
It's weird to say that.
It's wild how different Titanic, Avatar, and Avatar: Way of the Water are from this is pretty substantial. This is more comparable, obviously, to the movie that came 2 years before it with Terminator.
Yeah. Literally isn't it the main one of the main dudes of the love triangle? Like, isn't that?
Michael Biehn. Yeah.
Oh,
Hicks.
I'm gonna say Hicks. I was gonna fucking
Hudson.
Actually, I was gonna actually do the in movie joke of actually mixing them up, but but I'm watching the whole time. I'm like, man, wait a minute. I'm like, isn't this fucking Terminator guy? And I just didn't. It's been so long since I've seen Terminator, and I don't know, but
I really need to rewatch that, and I need to watch T2 for the first time. I've never seen Terminator 2, and everyone thinks it's better. Yeah.
Oh, whoa! I think I mean, it's like the actual Terminator movie. I feel like I feel like it might be. Like, Terminator 2 is maybe some people just forget about the first one because the second one was so cool. And I don't even remember. I couldn't tell you the plot points, really. I just remember, like, being amazed. I was a lot younger at the time, I guess. So.
Oh, that's also James Cameron, 5 years later after this.
I mean, it feels like I was checking just IMDb, looking through everybody, and there's a lot of people that show up in Terminator and, like, that are just kind of seeming like he stick with the same actors for a lot of things. Yeah. But man, you bringing up Titanic, like looking through James Cameron's filmography, it all kind of makes sense. It makes like they're all kind of the same-ish movies, like Terminator and Rambo and Aliens 2 specifically, not Alien. I don't know, like these vibes of movies, and then later on, Avatar, I still say would even fit in this, but Titanic,
it 100% does. It's a lot more polished. Avatar and Avatar Way of the Water, like there's a certain like technology kind of caught up with his vision. It's kind of how I look at it.
Okay.
And I think that's like, if he could have made Aliens look the way Avatar does, he would have. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like, I do think that there's like, as far as you're right about it being more dated than Alien is, there's almost like and there is obviously actually literally a found footage vibe at points whenever we're like approaching the big alien ship and stuff, whenever they're like, you're seeing it through their cameras on their helmets, and Ash is watching it on the ship and stuff. But even beyond that, I mean, like, literally in the world, there's that handheld camera thing that almost makes it feel like you're there in Alien. And I think this one loses that a little bit. But it's still super fucking cool. You know, I think that it's a gem of a movie, man. I have such a great time. I'm a sucker for found family. Found family stories are always great, and the way that Hicks, Ripley, and Newt find each other is really, really resonant. Hicks is a lot more interesting than I remember giving him credit for. One of my favorite parts of the movie is whenever Newt falls down the little grate thing at the end when they're gonna make it out, and she's like, "We can't leave," and he's like, "I know, I'm going. Like, I'm going to find. Like, we're going to find her. Don't worry. Like, we just need to move." You know, I love whenever people act without hesitation to protect kids, like, specifically is always going to be resonant. Like, there's a paternal instinct that kicks in, and they're like, "Got to go save that child. Yes, we could get out of here. Yes, there's a mother alien ready to kill us, but I got to go find the child." I love that stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely the best sort of soldier there can be in a movie, where it's they're a human too, you know. They don't just blindly be like, "All right, time to fucking move." And then, like, he has some Marine tendencies, you know, or like grunt. He's like, "All right, now check out my gun," you know. But it's like more of like a kiddish. I don't know. It's more cute in a way whenever he's like showing her his, like, it was a nice moment, like, between them two.
Oh, it was really cute. You know, and it's also cute because Ripley's like, "You started this. You got to show me everything." You know, like, I love that part. Like, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, I will then." I like it.
Like, their chemistry was really, really good, and like, so as a soldier goes, you know, I think whenever I was looking into the differences of the cuts, I saw that James Cameron, he was actually really, really disappointed in how he portrayed the soldiers in the movie. He said he made them too dumb. He feels like he said he went a little too overboard, and then I don't know, should have gone the opposite route, but still played with the same themes of just
right. They shouldn't have been as dumb, but should have done as much dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these are at the core, Alien movies are incredibly anti-militaristic, which is a theme that James Cameron plays with a lot, as he does with Avatar and everything. You know, like, they're incredibly anti-capitalist, anti-environmental exploitation. Like, they are deeply, he's a deeply moral filmmaker as far as what he thinks is right. He knows how to put that on screen. So I tend to agree that the soldiers are too dumb. Hudson is a moron. I love him. I love Hudson. He's a moron.
He plays a good role, at least. Like, to show
Rodriguez. Rodriguez, stupid.
Rodriguez. Who's Rodriguez?
I think it's Rodriguez.
Vasquez or
Vasquez? Yes, Vasquez.
I mean,
sorry.
Upper body strength, kind of nuts. Goes nutty for a woman. And is that like the? Are we thinking of the same person?
Yes, yes, we are.
Have you ever been mistaken for a man? No. Have
you?
Have
you? That's hard. Love that.
So I mean, like, yeah, they're all very much the grunt. Oh, all we're here for is to kill. Blah. Like, they are not moral people. You know, like most of them don't really have that moral compass, I guess, kind of back there. But Hudson, he was annoying, and like his lines are kind of funny. You know, "Oh man, oh, we're all fucked, man."
Well, I
and,
love Bill Paxton. I love Bill
yeah,
Paxton. That dude's so fucking funny.
And I think it's perfect because whenever he's like in Marine mode or shoot mode, he's like, "Oh, nothing can touch me," and like, "Oh, come here, motherfucker, like, I'm gonna get you." And then, like, the second things are just not in control, or like we don't know what to do, there's no
"We're gonna die out here,
it's
man.
like, "Oh, we're fucked, man." And then I love just the immediate comeback of Ripley just being like, "Hey, this child, literal child in front of you has survived longer than you with nothing, no training, no weapon. And then he's like, oh, we'll put her in charge, man. He still doesn't quite clock
I
the
love
idea,
that. But that's why I'm like, I do think that they add a lot to the movie, but it was something that and I do think it adds another layer also to the idea that they're not giving this mission the time of day it deserves. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a certain dismissiveness of Ripley, and because she's been dismissed, they don't want her to be right, so they send her kind of a shitty team and inexperienced, and they...
Oh, yeah.
know, but... and I do think that's part of it, but you can't do that and also do the whole, is this another bug hunt? Like, they've done things like this before.
That's...
like, there's almost like a pick a lane sort of vibe, where, like, it feels like this is a fresh thing that they've never done before, but all of them are also treating it like it's an everyday task. And I don't think that, I think that tonally that kind of ends up
that's true.
juxtaposing each other too much. Almost.
Bug hunt? As in, like there's just, I don't know. I guess the universe is quite big. There could just be they do bring it up of, like, talking about fucking another species or something like that. And, like,
and there's also that part whenever, whenever they're like, who's that? And when they're talking about Ripley at the beginning, they're like, they say she saw an alien, and they're like, whoa, like,
wait.
Okay.
And, so
they're mocking her. They're like, whoa.
Oh, so maybe 50 years ago, maybe Ripley, like, I don't know, maybe.
I think it would have been. I think it would have been crazy for Ripley 50 years ago. I don't think it's as crazy for them now. It's kind of the impression I'm getting.
It's weird. Like, it's 50 years in the future. And we're also, forward in real life by 7 years.
Yeah, it's 100. It's 100 years in the future from us, and then 150 years for aliens. Yeah.
But it feels like we went back in time with, like, the control panels and set. I know I'm harping big on the set design, and maybe I just really love the first one so much that I wanted it to be the same. But, like, I don't know. Everything was like, it's obviously dated, or like the effort wasn't there. I felt like I
think that something that they did with Alien, when it came to interiors specifically, because we do a lot more exterior work with this one. We go outside, we are on the ground, and like that stuff. I mean, it does look dated, but there's a certain vibe to it that I actually quite like. Whenever they are outside, I don't think the interiors are shot as well as Alien was. So I think if you get if you get Ridley Scott back to shoot these interiors, I'd be willing to bet they look better.
They tried a couple. Like, you could see that they were trying to, like, pay homage with, like, the light flooding in, like, even the opening. I feel like very, very kind of clear. Just kind of, it's opening the movie. We're transitioning from the other, and it was cool that it's like, all right, we're straight up just opening the ship up and waking
there are
her
a
up
lot of there are a lot of visual homages to the first one. There's a shot of Ripley towards the end wherever she pins her back against a wall and she breathes real heavy, and it's zoomed in on her face the way they did at the end of the movie Alien whenever she turns the corner and sees the alien and then turns and pins her back. Wasn't as good looking. Wasn't the same. Like, it was the same shot, but it was not as good.
That's true. Yeah, if you're gonna pay homage, I feel like it's nice in the first place that you're doing it, and you're obviously you're respecting where you're coming from. But I feel like it's much better if you can innovate and kind of do something new that's like, oh, whoa, that's like, so it's not worse than before. It's actually like something unique and different,
Oh, and to be fair, the whole movie concerns itself a lot with being different. It is not tonally the same at all. So whenever they do these little homages, I almost took it as a reminder, like, and remember, this is a sequel to Alien, which is funny. And I do think that Ripley gets a lot of expansion, obviously, as a character. A lot of what her character's journey is driven by this movie as opposed to the first movie. Like, the first movie is all survival, and I think that the character work in this one is just a bit more thorough. I think it has to be for the subject matter at hand. She was a mom. Her child died. She didn't get to see her child grow up. It's a little Interstellar-esque. You know, and then she finds a child, she finds a husband, and then we will watch the third movie.
Yeah, it's nice, like, to know. I kind of thought that it was only Ripley and Newt that made it out, but Hicks, like, he was banged up, but bro's
he's
alive.
banged up, but he's alive. Yeah,
he's alive. So I was like, I came into the movie thinking he was dying, and I was waiting for his, like, sacrifice play, honestly, the whole time of the movie. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, bro's alive. So yeah, that was kind of cool to realize at the end. And man, I just wish Burke was I don't know, maybe it was in the special edition. I don't know. Maybe they took it out. But I really wish they showed him brutally murdered. Like,
they don't. They don't. They cut away whenever he is, like, about to die. Dang. Yeah. Oh, and, you know, another movie that I think this is a formative influence on, going back to the Spielberg connection, is Jurassic Park. This movie 150% influenced Jurassic Park. That movie came out 7 years later. You've got the corporate figure who's putting the money above everything else.
My God.
He doubles as the he also doubles as the scientist in this movie, though, like the John Hammond figure, but never really realizes what they're doing is wrong, versus being the lawyer.
Wow.
Who, you know, that's
yeah.
And we get the familial parental connections between Sam Neill and Laura Dern and the kids in that movie, and Ellen Ripley and Hicks with Newt in this, and just, yeah, and the monsters, that's a big one, lurking around every corner. Yeah, it's a perfect double feature, by the way. I ended up watching Jurassic Park after I watched this, because I was like, I gotta watch it now, because that's exactly what this movie reminds me of. And one thing that I will give James Cameron over Spielberg, which is I can't say that's a lot. He's not nearly as sexless, man. There's a vibe there between his characters that just always exists. You know, like, there's a vague enough. You know that Sam Neill and Laura Dern are together in Jurassic Park, but if you don't know that, you might not know that.
That's true. Yes, and
you know, like, you might just kind of go, oh wait, they're together. You know, like, you could. It's possible. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if somebody did. There's no doubt by the end of this movie that Ripley and Hicks want each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and then obviously Titanic, very, like, Spielberg's never made a Titanic level love story ever.
Not good sex, too.
Good sex, very good sex.
That's why it surprises me so much. Titanic, it's like such a black sheep of all of his movies. I feel like it's like I feel like a woman wrote that movie almost, which is like
right.
Did he?
That's a compliment.
I know. Yeah. Was it was? Oh yes, I did not mean that in a bad. I did mean that.
No. I know you didn't. I just wanted to make it clear
that could come
is a
off
compliment.
Very out of context, But no, like, did he get help, like, outside, like, from a woman to write? Like, did Kate Blanchett just be like, "Hey, this is what I would do," or like,
Kate Blanchett,
or like, is that actually wrong? Or...
Oh, well, Titanic is it's Kate Winslet.
Kate.
Yes,
okay, so I got the Kate. Blanchett. Who's Blanchett? Wait, who am I?
Blanchett is another actress, an incredible actress. Thor Ragnarok. She's Hela. She's been in a lot more than that. Life Aquatic and
that's
Carol and Tar.
Parallel universe of her in Titanic. But yes, Winslet.
It just says written by James Cameron, which is kind of crazy, bro. Cooked.
Honestly, you know what?
There's actually I cannot wait to get to a certain part of Twin Peaks that connects to Titanic, and that doesn't even make sense to you now.
What?
But yeah.
Titanic?
Yeah.
No fucking way, dude.
Not the movie, but it's a behind the scenes thing. Yeah.
Oh man,
Billy Zane, the guy who's like an asshole in Titanic.
Oh, okay.
The bad guy the rich bad guy who she leaves is also in Twin Peaks.
Kind of a Dick Tremaine-esque.
Yes, he is in that movie. He is so fucking cool in Twin Peaks. Love Billy Zane in Twin Peaks. But we'll get there. But we also do a Twin Peaks rewatch and first watch podcast for those listening. It's called Fire Pod with me. If you've never watched it, it's the podcast for you. If you have watched it, it's the podcast for you. You just have to watch up to the point we're at. All right. Enough with the plugs. But regardless, yeah, I think that what James Cameron manages to get out of his actors as far as chemistry is concerned is a little bit more profound than Spielberg was ever able to after Karen Allen and Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was the last time his actors, I feel like, just had a ridiculous chemistry that was just popping off the screen.
Is it because
and that was a long
them,
fucking time ago.
Just talented, fucking hot people.
Hot people. And that's the thing is that he's had a lot of talented hot people who do not have as much chemistry. That's why I'm like, it's something to.
That's fair.
Or something directorially, I think, whenever he chooses his tone, something that he wants something palatable for the whole family most of the time, and that's
you got to
how
take
he
the
does
sex
it.
out. I guess that's no sex for his brain, but I mean, like, because it's clear that Vasquez and not Hudson, I did it again. Not even Hicks. It's what the other guy, the big guy that holds the other big gun, Drake maybe. But they fuck.
Oh yeah, the one that Vasquez has like a chemistry with.
Yes,
yeah,
like they fuck. Like you can just kind of tell. They never even.
Yeah, when when he dies, she like almost goes back for him and everything. Yeah, like there's there's a lot of implicit connections already existing here. I'm a big fan of Bishop. I love Lance Henriksen's depiction of Bishop, especially on the other side of Alien. It is very nice to see a good synthetic or artificial person, as he prefers to be called.
Yes, true. Artificial person. This is right, and this. I mean, bro. His actual sacrifice. Well, he didn't mean to at the end.
He didn't. Yeah.
But well, is he actually still alive too? Because like
he can be. Yeah. He very well can be.
Yeah. So I guess he's still kicking it. But or maybe. But it was him going through the tube. He was like, I'm not stupid. I realize I'm clearly the one that's going to do this, and it sucks.
He's like, I might be artificial, but I'm not stupid. I don't want to do this. I just will.
Yeah. And then finally, when Ripley is like, you know what? I
like you,
good.
dog. Yeah.
Boom! Just straight through the fucking heart. I mean, it was
through the heart and then torn in half.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
Damn. I mean, it was like Mando finally coming around on droids, and then just if IG-11 suddenly just self-explode, combusted or
self-destructed and exploded
right
immediately.
then and there. But no,
not a couple minutes later like he does.
Yeah. He actually chose to go out. Bishop had no clue this was coming, and bro just a sad trivia I read too. He had to spit all this milk. It was literally milk, yogurt, and something else that they mixed up. And then they didn't get new milk and shit each day, so it just sat there on set, hot as hell, and it was super smelly, people said, and they avoided the area on set. But Bishop Lance Henriksen. He just like bit the bullet, and he was like, well, it's part of the job. It's what's here. I have to do it. And he just people were like, wow, he just ate, I don't know, just went through that shit and spit it up multiple times, I guess, and he got really sick because of it. I got food poisoning due to all of this the worst concoction you could keep, dairy products in hot heat set and then eat it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Bro had to actually go through it in the sacrifice place. So I feel a synthetic or artificial person that was really, really nice to have, even though I don't know. I did kind of think he had this sudden or one moment where he said, that they're magnificent. And he kind of gave a grin, of liking the face crawlers. And it was like, I thought they were, it might just be
they were definitely, they were making the connection to Ash where they were like, they're admirable creatures. There's a beauty. And again, I connect this to Jurassic Park as well, wherever after everything in Jurassic Park, the last shot is Sam Neill looking out the window of a helicopter at a bird and smiling at it. There's still beautiful. There's still beauty that came from all of that, even though they just went through all this horror. So I think that there's something to admire in the facehuggers, regardless of what they create. There's just kind of a holy shit, what an organism, is kind of especially a scientist like Bishop would probably just ogle at.
Yeah. I wonder if this has been studied of just how we find something attractive or sexy, and like because obviously there's human things that we find hot and attractive, but like why don't we find a dolphin? Yeah, it's obviously just like, well, no, that
Well, no, I wouldn't. Yeah.
But I guess maybe, who knows? Don't want to shame.
There are certainly some people out there,
but maybe I will. I don't know.
I do want to judge them.
Deserve to kind of be out there on their own. I think but anyway, but yeah, it's like what a or different species.
What's the evolution? What's the evolutionary reason?
And is there? Is there? Or is it just
no,
like
but like xenomorphs, like
do they find each other hot or not at all? Are they purely primal? Do
they
fuck?
seem asexual?
Oh, true.
Also,
the queen just lays eggs, and then the facehugger
just lays eggs. The facehuggers,
I guess the facehugger's the only one that fucks, but it just fucks one time.
That was
dies.
Also a really interesting. Just kind of recontextual, like realizing it again. That the queen has to lay the eggs.
Yeah.
The eggs have to be facehuggers. The facehuggers have to latch onto something. It creates more xenomorphs, which can lay more eggs.
I mean, it's, kind of fucking goated. Actually, like, I mean, I do see why they see them as magnificent. It's like, I mean, if you wanna just have a population boom, holy shit. And they're actually smart as hell because they put the nest in the middle of the fucking nuclear reactor or whatever, the reasoning was to make it go kaboom. And you can't fire bullets in there, and it's like clear they didn't pick that just cause it was
right.
Like they knew that it was like it's a I don't know, a mutually assured destruction sort of thing, and so it's really really cool to see I don't know those elements and there's not a word from them, but it's clear that they're the scene where Ripley and Big Queen are having like their standoff, and it's like, well, hey, I'm just protecting mine, you're protecting yours, we understand each other, I'm gonna back away slowly now, and then one egg opens up, and then it's like, all right, what the, well, I'm not taking my chances, and then she gets to let loose, which was awesome, and yeah, just the shredding of the fucking like egg sac or larva or whatever. Ooh. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's like it's gross, but it's crazy that it's like it's just what humans do on a grander scale, like on a way way grander scale and grosser scale. So it's like xenomorphs, it like they do come from humans, so like it kind of makes sense. It's like if every human trait was just or only like just the most brutal, I don't know, whatever sense of the word you want to say is just pumped into a xenomorph and it's just maxed out. 2K My Player, all the sliders for sex, reproduction, and survival are just cranked up, and everything else.
And hostility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another person in the film who I think is kind of underrated is Sergeant Apone. I like the black sergeant who like wakes up from his sleep and immediately pops in a cigar.
Yes,
just like had it with him.
He had to have that there. I mean,
he had it in his fucking. He had it in the goddamn pod. He woke up, sat up, put that shit in his mouth. I love that. He chewed
on it too.
He chewed on that motherfucker.
Yeah, I never seen people really be that. I don't know. Okay with just chewed tobacco. I don't know. Like, is it that common to actually have it smashed in your mouth like that? Like, it feels like that's kind of bad. That feels like you just you got to get on a different level.
You've achieved something here.
You've been smoking those for a while.
You know what you're doing. Just in general. I'm not even talking about strictly with smoking cigars. You generally have a sense of what's going on, and you're good at it. But Al Matthews, the actor who played Sergeant Apone.
Terminator, right? Is that literally the Predator handshake, or is that
no, that's Carl Weathers.
Dang. Okay, never mind. I was like, man, all these movies like connect in this really weird way,
right?
All through all these actors. Okay,
Predator.
Rules. Duh. That's Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Holy, I gotta
dude was fucking
Predator.
jacked back in the day.
Oh my god. Whoa,
yeah, dude was he was also Apollo Creed.
Oh, okay.
In the Rocky movies.
Yeah, I guess I knew that.
So like he's a big bad motherfucker, Wow. But regardless, Al Matthews, the guy who played Sergeant Apone, plays, the sergeant in this movie, was in real life the first black Marine to be promoted to the rank of sergeant.
What?
during Vietnam.
In in the real military.
In real life,
That
yes,
is
in real
insane.
life.
That's
Also,
actually-
Lance Henriksen is a U.S. Navy veteran, so there's also that. I had a couple of vets here.
That's actually pretty sick. That's like, and kind of makes it a little worse that they're portrayed as so. At least he's not portrayed as dumb. He's very
he's
very on it. You know,
he's one of the dudes who I'm like, that's a good, like, that is the good person to send on this mission. You know,
yeah, they're not paying us by the hour. People come he's the one to just get everyone moving. You know, he's and just he has the classic. Being the sergeant, but he's not too much of a dick about it. You know, it's like he has that stern. He knows when to put the hammer down, or he's like, or I forget, Hudson, come here, or I don't know. It cuts away. We don't even know what he did to him, but it's like I love all of it. Just every time he, I don't know, has to just hold it down or get everyone going. But yeah, how does he go? I was trying to remember how, because a lot of people die, I guess, pretty quick whenever it just all goes down, and I was wondering if he had, I don't know, he was taken, I think, actually. Yeah, and then he was one that they were like, oh, his vitals are barely going, or barely still going.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of unceremonial demises in this one, and I think it works. Like, I think that a lot of the demises in Alien movies should be unceremonial. I think that's part of the point. But we made the point that it was nice that Hicks makes it out of the movie. But is there a little bit something to be said for the fact that everybody makes it out of the movie also, and that's kind of like, oh, okay, come on now. You know, not everybody makes it out, but everybody you really care about makes it out, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like, obviously Newt or Ripley.
You want Newt and Ripley to make it out no matter what, but Hicks and even Bishop, you're like, yeah, he got killed, but we're still like, he's fine though. You know, he's he's an artificial person. It'll be okay. So that's where I'm like, one thing that I will say about this movie, and a reason that I do question whether or not I have it 2, 3, 4 in my Alien ranking, is because tonally, while this is a good movie, I question whether or not it's a good Alien movie. There's it's a markedly lighter movie than any other Alien movie. There's a tone taken that is arguably not nearly dark enough for what the franchise eventually is. So, like, you can't judge the movie based on that on its own merit. You know, like, there were only 2 movies that existed. There were one movie that existed at the time. It was trying to do something else. It's a good innovation, I think, from that. But what the franchise does do is it ignores this more than anything and does fall back tonally on the 1979 Alien, which makes this one stick out like a sore thumb a little bit.
Yeah.
And not a sore thumb. It's still a great fucking movie. You know, I don't want to undersell it. It is a great movie. It's just that there is a lightness to it that I think doesn't align with the rest of the Alien franchise.
Yeah, it is weird also growing up in the post just kind of cinematic universe, you know, phase of movies and going through that, and it just wasn't a thing really. So to have that is weird, but like, it does, at least when the source is good and timeless and I don't know, you just know it has that juice. It's like you want that connectedness. You want that something in the same vein, something that gives you, I don't know, that connection. And in Ripley, it was just Ripley. That was like the only Ripley and the Xenomorph in the story. You know, the overall, we're just literally in the same universe. But cinematically, I guess, like, yeah, it's I love that they did decide to be like, no, a new creator. You know, let's see what someone else can do with it, and that's fun. But you know, that's, I don't know, like, sometimes it is kind of nice to stick with, I don't know, it's a weird, like, principally it feels kind of wrong that it feels like one person shouldn't own kind of, you know, everything, and anyone should try to get their crack at it. But I don't know, I would love to have seen just the pure, I don't know, like Ridley
just
Scott.
a pure Ridley Scott, nothing but Ridley Scott.
What that would be.
that would have been very interesting.
But
there's something to be said for the fact that he probably didn't do a second movie because he didn't have an idea for a second movie. You know, there's probably like when it came to Alien, I get why and how it spawned a franchise. It's science fiction, and the xenomorphs are an interesting idea. Like obviously, there's more stories to tell here. But it was not a movie that necessitated a sequel. Like she lived, she made it off the Nostromo, and now we can move on. So like I can't blame anybody for not thinking beyond that. And I do appreciate that James Cameron and the team here did come up with something because it kept this franchise alive and it spawned a lot of great movies, including a couple great Ridley Scott ones. So like it was worth it. And I know I'm talking about this movie like it's a notable down point. It's miles better than the next two movies.
Okay.
I will say that. Like it is a better movie than the next two.
Yeah.
I do think that I still enjoy those a great deal. They kind of are Mission Impossible 2 and 3. Okay, this has this doesn't have the juice that the others do. It's still solid, but it doesn't have the juice. This has the juice. There's no doubt about it. And while it is a little dated, while it is, I think, quintessentially mid '80s, in its action and in its feel and everything, I do still think that it is a fantastic time. It's still a 5 on Letterboxd for me. It's still one of those that I will revisit routinely.
Sure.
Like you said, this was probably my 3rd or 4th watch. I'm not sure which it was for me, but
it's
I love it. I love the movie.
It is I have been very negative, I think, as well, and I think it's because I've only had positive things to say about it before. So I was just trying to find my actual gripes in the movie, but no, the things I've loved before, Ripley and Newt, just having that. I think this movie is actually what makes Ripley the badass. Like in Aliens, she is badass, but it's more just she's surviving and she's who got out. So it's like, but she did some badass things. It's this that makes her character. You realize she is the heart and soul of the franchise here. Like it's
right,
and it's. Instantaneously she's correct every time, and it's just and you can, I don't know, it's so I think without this movie I wouldn't have known Ripley as so, I wouldn't have loved her as much. So I think it actually, watching this first, enhanced Alien so much. Like to actually go 2-1, I think was in a weird way just to appreciate the original much, much more. And so I wonder if I would have started, with no knowledge.
To appreciate this one more. By the way, you're probably better off watching this one first if you want to like it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because you'll watch Alien after and you'll be like, oh, but if you watch Alien first and then you watch this, you go, well, Alien was better. At least that's how I look at it. But there are a lot of people who do not feel that way. There are a lot of people who will staunchly say that this is the best Alien movie. And I can't blame any of them. You got your take, you got your opinion. I don't agree, but I think that it's valid. This is still an incredible movie.
Like on paper, we fight way more xenomorphs. We see a queen.
Cool.
We have a power loader V queen fight, blow her out the fucking airlock to end it, slam dunk, climb it.
Blow up the Death Star 2 type shit. Yeah. We're gonna revisit the same exact. Yeah.
Like in this car tank whatever thing. The plane. Getting down to the planet. Like there's some cool shit that goes on.
Very very cool shit.
And
as far as the story is concerned, I do appreciate the expansion of the world. The whole first movie took place on the Nostromo. Here we do get to go bigger and further away. And when she wakes up on the space station and has the nightmare about the xenomorph bursting out of her chest, and she's with Jonesy and everything. I love that sequence. I think that's and one of my favorite things is just like the jumping off point for this movie is that she is fired from the company which sent her and her crew to their deaths because people in the company don't even know that they were actually on orders.
Yep.
You know, like it was so buttoned up and so hidden that even some of the people working for the company do not know that that's what we're doing. She got fired because she costed them money. Inexplicably blew up this ship, not inexplicably. When she gets fired, she becomes a working class grunt, does a bunch of hard labor, becomes a super badass, and then uses that in a fight against an alien. That's sick. I love that. So I do appreciate she becomes a little bit of a working class hero, which I think is sick. And she was already kind of, but to a different degree. She becomes the Brett Parker sort of character somewhere in this movie, and I think that's fun.
Yeah, it seems to be a flight officer, you had to work your way up. Like Burke is like, hey, I can actually get that back for you, or whatever. I can. And Burke, oh my god, like perfect, just character for company and just evil villain, and and like I loved the company expansion here and just how.
Yeah, Weyland-Yutani.
Yeah, just how it isn't like at least Burke. It is his plan. Like, this is like, no, I will smuggle these aliens back and I will make a bunch of money on it, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I will make it big. So it doesn't really seem that it's actually a company-wide initiative. This is just one guy that through the powers of the company and through negligence and, unchecked whatever the fuck.
And also understanding that if he exploits the company's structure in this way, it will benefit him. Like there's not going to be any sort of vetting. There's not going to be any sort of like investigation into what happened here. He could just make up whatever he wants, and then that'll be that. I love whenever they're trying to figure out what to do with him, and Hudson's like, "Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, we're frying
You're
him.
fucking
like,
dead."
Cool. Yeah, let's just kill him.
I love that part, and I love that Ripley's like, "Well, we got to get him back," and Hicks, and he's like, "Well, hold on. How do you plan on doing that?" Well, and she's like, "Well, he planned on killing you guys too."
Yeah.
While me and Newt were impregnated, or whatever you want to call it.
Child. Like, I guess.
And then Hicks goes, "Oh, you're fucking dead."
Yeah.
I love that part whenever Hicks is like, "Oh, you are so fucking dead." It's so good, man.
Which is right,
Oh, yeah.
Like he should have just been fried, but honestly, him getting back and being humiliated first and then fry him. Like get him back to the company, tell him what he did, fucking embarrass him in front of all of the people that know him, and then murk him. I feel like is
right.
But yeah, I guess he is a xenomorph now, whatever. I don't know, or had a child, I guess. Face crawler got to him. Or was it? Yeah, it was just a face crawler. Or no.
It was an alien that got him.
So I
He's
guess
dead.
maybe they took him and I guess still. Because that's crazy that it looks kind of like they do kill some people, just straight up it looks like. I don't know. I guess they got to eat. I don't know.
Now they're also farming some people too, though.
Yeah, it's like, well, we'll just paralyze you and then take you to the egg room so that we can make more.
The nest.
Yeah, so it's interesting how they decide to split some people in half or keep some people. What's is there a process, or is it just if it deem, I don't know. And an interest, I guess, kind of a thing that was going through my head this time is first movie we saw a brand new xenomorph. Like this is a baby xenomorph, like alive for a day, literally, and but these xenomorphs have been alive for possibly 50 or however long that colony's been there for, and however long they took over. I don't know when that happened, but these xenomorphs. I
will say, this is another important thing. I think the scene with Newt and her family provides context for.
Love that.
She's not older. Newt isn't older. Like she's roughly the same age. It's probably been a few weeks.
Oh wow! So these are actually fresh xenomorphs, kind of.
These are fresh xenomorphs.
Wow. Okay.
It's kind of how I see it.
Okay. So yeah.
I mean, I guess it could have been a couple months. But like Newt is not a.
They do say at the beginning of the movie that like the colony's there and they are giving us fine, like everything's fine. I guess, so
and then they lose. It's just kind of how long Ripley was just working there. Like there's there's a time jump there at the beginning of the movie that they do not explicitly state how long it is. but days are just kind of melting away for Ripley. And then they're like, oh yeah, we lost contact with them, so we need you to go out there and help us see what's going on. You know, you'll be safe, it'll be fine, don't worry.
Not cooking for I guess Newt would have been, or everyone would have been just dead if they would have been 50 years old. Like, if they'd been cooking for 50 years, that doesn't really make sense.
The colony never would have taken off. Her parents getting face hugged and finding the derelict spaceship is what caused it.
Oh my God. Did they let the colony happen in the first place because they knew they would get more more births? Or
it's possible.
This little backstory, this colony is I guess it could be a spoiler, I don't know, like it feels like this is perfect prequel territory right here. But it was also shown, I guess, their parents and stuff, the downfall of it, which is I guess the only part that I really cared for. But I guess I thought it did happen over the span of 50 years, so it was this long fight between Xenomorph and this colony.
No, the Xenomorphs got there and wiped them the fuck out.
Okay.
It did not take very long.
Okay. So yeah, not anything, I guess, too, like I thought like a whole movie, like, is this what Covenant or Prometheus is like concerned with, like it, but it's not really,
because I mean it's before Aliens.
Yeah,
so,
it is technically before. So like,
and by like a lot. Like it's not exactly.
But okay, a lot. Okay, that's
like there's a distance between Alien between Covenant and Alien.
But is there any like extended universe, like novels or comics?
There are comics. There are comics. I'm assuming there's novels.
Because
I don't know how much. I don't know anything about them. I've only read like a couple issues because I remember I was going to the comic shop weekly whenever they started a new Alien run, and I was like, "Oh, that's sick! I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up." I went ahead and grabbed it. So I have one Alien comic here, but it was cool. It was a cool read.
Yeah, I mean, just a cool a xenomorph is just kind of fucking nuts.
And it was gorgeous. You could do some gorgeous stuff in the artwork for a xenomorph. Like that's a dream character to draw for a talented artist. True. So.
A nightmare for a prop artist, or to make come alive in a movie. I feel like that's a. But the Queen, I mean, hey, they did a
crazy effect there. Crazy effect there. That's why I'm like, a lot of it has, I do agree, aged. But the mother alien, Queen Alien, dude, she's a badass.
That was nice.
That's a beautiful, beautiful visual effects work there.
And the power loader was the one thing that was like getting to me. I'm like, did they fucking build that thing? I'm like, because it's not a miniature. Like she is
in
there.
something.
Yeah, like is she like? And I'm like, how is this? Is this sped up? What do you know how they?
I do not know how they pulled that off.
There's no way. It looks. I mean, if it's just like a prop or like power loader aliens behind the scenes, I guess. But like, it seemed like it was way lighter than it like should have been. Like I could tell that it wasn't an actual bulldozer heavy weighted, I don't know, like an actual like thing. But I'm trying to think of the practical, like how they got it to move, because there was no. This is in film, and like I don't know. I was just trying to like, what are they? They can't paint out anything, right? Like, or I guess, well. Oh wait, it's like a massive puppet on like rods, and like
that makes sense.
Literally just a huge puppet. Oh my god! But how do they paint out these rods? Like, it's not I wonder if the angles just didn't quite get it or something, and maybe they just had it freestanding and didn't need it to. For maybe the motion shots, it's on the rods, but some of them it's like, how do they get that shot? Wow, that's I don't know, but that's at least the like what I feel the original had more of is James Cameron. I feel like he's an innovator and he wants to do whatever the best possible thing is at the time, but I feel like Ridley Scott is more of like how using weird, I don't know, or just camera tech, or just the ambience, or I don't know. Like he's using something else that I don't know how to explain. That is
it's intangible. There's a feel, there's a vibe to Alien that this one just doesn't have, and I do think it's just that universality. I do think that there's a degree of broader appeal here that Alien didn't concern itself with. I almost feel like this movie, I don't want to make it sound like James Cameron didn't make the movie he wanted to make. I do believe he made the movie he wanted to make, but I think the movie he wanted to make was something that would appeal to more people. So I don't think he went for something as distinct. I don't think he went for something as singular. And you could make that argument for James Cameron. Like James Cameron's made 3 movies that made over $2 billion or $1 billion. So like that's it's clearly something that he has in mind when he makes movies. He wants as many people to see them as possible, and he's making movies that do get asses in seats. There's zero doubt about that. And I think that was just one of his motivations with this movie, and I think that that's something that Ridley Scott didn't concern himself with a lot when he was making Alien.
Maybe another a weird comparison I'm going to make for James Cameron is Garth Brooks, someone who gets asses in stadiums year after year, super popular, but I see how people could love him. I do see it. It's just not my taste or not my cup of tea. So it's like, it is still good for the genre, and people can, I don't know, I guess maybe not, Garth Brooks isn't the best, I don't know, like straight one-on-one analogy, but just at least the principle of it's just not my cup of tea. Where Aliens, that was the shit. I don't know, that it was just cooking with something different.
That's why James Cameron is a really complicated filmmaker for me, because I do love this. I loved Terminator. Titanic is one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't love Avatar, but I do love Way of the Water. I think that there's a leap that he took there. I need to watch T2, like I said a little bit ago. He's got a couple other movies in between there that I haven't seen. So like he hits more than he misses for me, for sure. I just don't think that when it comes to my favorite directors ever, he's just not going to be one that I think of. Even though I do admire a lot of his work a great deal.
Yeah, he's very I mean, like Avatar is just a technical holy
marvel.
Fuck. Like it's like damn. And then
Way of the Water is even more
blew
impressive.
It up. Yeah, it was like holy shit. Like so like
and is a generally better movie. So
that's true. Yeah. But man, I still can't believe that this man made Titanic. Like, and it was written by him, I don't know. Like it does seem just kind of like a not a one-off. Like he has the talent. The talent's always been there, but just not his kind of movie that he would make.
Right. Feels a little bit outside the well, and that's what's crazy is it's written by him, directed by him. He obviously loves the ocean. That's his shit right there.
Yeah, true.
He goes down. He said he spent more time on the Titanic than the captain of the ship did.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, bro he wanted to be.
So that's my thing is like, well, yeah, filmmaking wise, it does feel a little bit out of his comfort zone. It's actually exactly what he always wanted to do.
Yeah. Still a big spectacle,
so there is,
I guess. It
is. It's still a massive spectacle.
So,
well, and it's clear that like the romantic elements, he obviously turns it up to be the focus of that movie, but that's never something he's been lacking, when it came to Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn in Terminator, and Biehn and Sigourney Weaver here.
Yeah.
Neytiri and Jake Sully even to a degree, like there's there's always a romance that you can at least understand and will resonate to a degree. That's where he got to make it the focal point of the film, and it really, really works, which is why I appreciate how romantic a filmmaker he is. I think that a lot of again, I do think this is something that Spielberg lacks. I think that Spielberg could benefit a lot from being a little bit more romantic about people and not romantic about their passions. That's something he's always really good at, is like the most romantic thing about Jurassic Park is the Doctor's love for science.
Yeah.
Most romantic thing about Indiana Jones is Indy's love for the adventure. You know, like that is always going to be the focal point for me whenever it comes to the exciting spectacle of Spielberg, is that his characters are always really passionate and they always love what they do. And they always have a nice little bond. It's always a family. It's always friendship. But I don't feel this raw love between characters often. That I think Cameron does pull off very effectively.
The love itself has got to be, I don't know, or just the actors' chemistry on screen. I just gotta. It's a weird thing to say out loud, but it's like just to know that they do stuff behind the scenes. You know, like to get that idea. Spielberg is. I don't think that crosses his mind of like I'm gonna make a sexual innuendo to you because we have sex all the time. It's not. It's just like no. We are both lovers because we love archaeology and the adventure.
Right.
Which I'm not. I don't want to boil down Spielberg and all of these directors to the. I don't know.
No, we're oversimplifying it, but no, that's. But I do agree to a point that is the fundamental difference to me between Spielberg and Cameron, even though and beyond. I mean, fundamental as far as what Cameron does well versus something Spielberg could use improvement on, because I do think generally Spielberg also makes better looking movies than Cameron.
That's yeah. Yeah.
Because Titanic, gorgeous movie. Avatar and Avatar 2, gorgeous movies. This, a gorgeous movie, but they're gorgeous movies for different reasons than the movies that Spielberg makes.
They got the timelessness to them. Like
they do. They do. But I don't have much else to say about Aliens. I think we might be able to go ahead and round her on out here. We will be back next week with Alien 3. Directed by David Fincher, who you will be familiar with via, Fight Club and all sorts of other great movies. He did The Killer a couple years back. Very, very talented director. Love me some David Fincher. So looking forward to that. We've got Fire Pod with me going on, as I said at the 30-ish minute mark earlier, Twin Peaks podcast. If you are interested in that, you can go ahead and shiggity check it out. If you've never watched Twin Peaks, now's the time. Go ahead and tune in. Watch along with us. You have a companion podcast to go with it. It's a lot of fun. Joe's never seen the show. I have, so we don't spoil anything beyond what we're covering at the time. It's a great deal of fun. If you've never watched Twin Peaks, I can't imagine having a little companion podcast to geek out with over. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Superman was released this weekend. So on our podcast, Geek With Me, which is comic book movie fantasy stuff, it's called Geek With Me. We covered Superman, or we will be covering Superman on Monday, I think is the plan. So you ought to check that out as well. I would appreciate that greatly. We saw that last night, and we loved it, I'm going to assume. We haven't seen it yet, but we will be seeing it last night. There's a, let's see. Yeah, and we are doing all of this here with Alien in anticipation of Alien Earth, which we will also be covering on Geek With Me. So might as well get over there and subscribe and everything now as we do this Superman stuff. We do the Fantastic Four movie here in a couple weeks. If you like our movie coverage here, that's where you'll get the comic book movie stuff. And like I said earlier, also, we did the 52-year journey through film on Penny Bloom podcast. We covered like 200 movies on the Penny Bloom podcast before we started this venture. So you should go ahead and check that out as well. There's like over 600 episodes of that show. Just so much work. So go ahead and check that out. I'm on Substack. Colton Robertson. It is The Cinementalists. That's my Substack. It's got a little apostrophe between the T and the S at the end to make it possessive. It's mine. My work, it's The Cinementalists, which I like. So go ahead and check that out. Do a lot of writing over there. My most recent piece was for 4th of July last week. It was called Rewatching V for Vendetta on Independence Day. So go ahead and check that out. I plan on writing something about Superman also, even though we are covering it. So I'm probably gonna do a little bit more of that too. I'll do the same thing with Fantastic Four. Might be a good way to formulate my thoughts before we hop on a microphone. But so all that, do it. Leave a 5-star rate and review. Download wherever you might be listening. that helps me like crazy. I appreciate it. Now, let's rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. How are we feeling about Aliens?
Well, the 10 clean from last week, I don't think I'm there. It doesn't resonate with me quite there, but even all the disappointment I've said, I don't know if I want to dip below a 9. A dip below a 9 kind of feels a little nutty. But like 8.75 was the first number to jump out at me, but then I look at other 8.75s. I guess that's what we gave Final Reckoning. Final MI8, we gave an 8.75, a weird movie to compare it to. MI4 also. Before that, there isn't really any.
I'd go 9 then.
Yeah, I think a 9. Yeah, it felt a little.
And that's that's hilarious given the context of the conversation we just have. You'd think that we would go a little lower, but no, yeah. It's a good fucking movie, man, and I feel like we did enough to emphasize that it is a good movie. We just had. I think another thing is that we didn't have any gripes about Alien.
True. Yeah.
So whenever you do have gripes about a movie, immediately after covering a movie you didn't have any gripes about, they stand out a little bit more. So that's why I'm like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm down on this movie. I'm not. It's a 9 out of 10. It's a great fucking movie. That's an all-timer right there. It's just not Alien, and hardly any movie is. Titanic, that's Alien. Titanic is like James Cameron has another movie that is that good to me. So like this just isn't that one. But yeah, no, love it. But 9 out of 10 is as high and as low as I can take it. I don't think I'd be able to go higher than that. I don't think I'll be able to go lower than that. And it does set an interesting gap there that I'm curious if we ever place something in between.
Yes.
I'm like, Covenant and Prometheus have a chance. I'm interested. I'm excited. I'm excited to revisit them to know, because now we're in a spot where I've seen the rest of these movies once. Alien 3 once, Resurrection once, Prometheus once, Covenant once, and Romulus once. So we're in a little bit of a newer territory for me versus these last couple movies, and I'm very, very excited. But
yeah, I guess I only got Romulus, but everything else is new. And even I don't know where I would put, if I do put Romulus above Aliens or not. I think it would be. I would have to rewatch it first. So, but yeah, I think just what I'm hearing of Prometheus, I think I will just enjoy it a lot more. Whether it's a better movie, I don't know. But like, I think that would be maybe one.
From what I'm recalling, I would be willing to bet Prometheus falls between Alien and Aliens.
That was it,
because Prometheus is gnarly. I love Prometheus.
If I had to guess, but that's I'll have to wait till I get there. It's gonna be fun just to get all the lore I can get now. I don't know. This is a franchise that I like. When it comes to sci-fi, it is kind of crazy that like it's fucking up there. Like I was listing just my sci-fi. If you exclude comic books and Spider-Man, I don't know all that.
Yeah,
it's like Matrix
like that's
and this, and like I guess Star Wars. Yeah, obviously. I don't
Star Wars
like
is
Star Wars,
yeah.
But it's like this is up there with just already.
Oh, it is.
It's
that good.
Two. So and Romulus, like I did really love Romulus. So
Romulus is a fun fucking movie, man. And that's the thing, is that there's no shortage of fun. Like when it comes to Resurrection and Romulus, we're having a great fucking time. Alien 3 is a darker movie. It goes back. It almost feels like a direct response to Aliens, like, oh, you went too light, so I'm going to go almost too dark.
The counterbalance
is kind of how I see Alien 3.
Interesting.
And I'm going to advise, if we can, to find a director's cut version of Alien 3.
Okay.
I've heard that's a much better... I've only watched it. I've heard that's a better version of the movie. I've never watched the theatrical version. If you cannot find a director's cut of the movie, just let me know, and I'll watch the director's cut anyway, and we can kind of compare and contrast. It'll still be fundamentally the same movie. It'll just be a little different.
Okay. Yeah, that's at least I didn't think it would have mattered too much, I guess. But then when I heard of the Ripley scene that I didn't get, I was like, oh wait, maybe this does actually matter.
I can't imagine there's much more than that though. And that does set up a lot of really, a lot of the maternal instinct she puts on display. You understand exactly where it comes from. You understand that she's missing something, like that's why I'm like, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. She's trying to make up for something. There's a guilt to her in this movie that she doesn't have in the first one. I think there's it's compelling. It's compelling, and her protective nature is really, really impressive. I love the scene where her and Newt, when she's putting Newt to bed before the two facehuggers infiltrate the room and everything. I love that scene. It's adorable. Like when she wakes up and they like slide under the bed. Like it's so cool. It's so cool. So yeah, there's a lot to love here, and that's why a 9 out of 10. I'm very confident in it. But I think with that we can conclude this episode on Aliens. Like I said, we'll be back next week with Alien 3, and I cannot wait. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, get away from her, you bitch!